Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Today update channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Bold and Beautiful just put Steffy's husband, brother and ex on a collision course, but Hope might have all the power. When Bold and Beautiful decides to shift lanes, it does so on a song and with little warning, much the same way my mama does while careening down the trace. Blinkers be damned! But actually, it was kind of a relief to have characters talking about Thomas and Hope after 2 solid months of endlessly repetitious exchanges regarding Eric's health. And what this week's scene set in stir pledges to protest 2024 off with a bang. Why? Well, let's take a near look. Did you hear that Finn saved Eric's life with an experimental treatment that involved broadcasting commodity unnamed to help cure whatever complaint he was fighting? Or that Ridge is upset that his pater won't come bounding back to life as good as ahead? If not, no way sweat, someone will reiterate those 2 points again any second now. Suitable for exchanging and party wear and tear, making you look perfect. And furnishing you with an ultra-soft, permeable sense. Populush, I am more interested in the Ridge angle, commodity, I no way imagined myself saying, than the Finn is a golden god narrative. For one reason, the alternate Finn and Steffy sat on the settee talking about her forefather's riddle disease a while back. It was enough clear that her husband was going to find a cure. The Ridge story, still, is less predictable. I've said for a while that I really hope Eric wakes up compromised in some way, and that they play the beat of him being furious with Ridge for disregarding the DNR. This is your memorial to bandy end-of-life care issues with your loved bones. Get them in jotting and hope that Ridge is the bone. You leave your fate to. Formerly, Ridge is looking for someone to condemn should effects go south with Eric. At least 3 times this week, he made sure to say, hey, I was gonna pull the draw on Pops, but the family made me change my mind. That's our Joe. Brother versus brother-in-law. Thankfully, Finn is also involved in a story which I am veritably agitated about and which, as frequently happens on this show, came out of left field. It started when Steffy, easily as wearied with all the Eric talk as the rest of us, slogged in on Hope and Thomas rearmost make out to arch her eyebrows and enunciate judgment upon them. I love the colorful strong duplications of Steffy, and that includes the one who throws big OL monuments from inside her cozy glass house. Finn defends Steffy BB, coming thing you know, Steffy's averring that Hope easily and in small, fluently understood words make her true intentions toward Thomas known. And to be clear, nothing short of a protestation of love was going to satisfy Steffy. It didn't count that Thomas was each, like, sis, you kinda bringing the mood down and then. It didn't count how numerous times Hope said none of your beeswax or Thomas tried shutting effects down. Steffy wanted answers and she wanted them incontinently. I was kinda wondering why this was getting so violent when Thomas, who'd been ridiculously patient up to this point, raised his voice, just in time for Finn to come shambling in. Puffing up his casket in aggregate He-Man fashion, Finn, not at all apprehensive of the fact that Steffy D spent the once 2 occurrences haranguing her family and his nut, advised Thomas not to speak to her that way. It was all veritably testosterone heavy and, again, didn't make important sense. Until, well, isn't that accessible? Xander entered the picture. Now, half the followership presumably said, who the hell is this Joe? And that includes people who were watching at the time because, actually, the character had about as important impact on the oil as Surge. Anyway, suddenly Xander was in Finn's office having flashbacks to that time Emma, another slightly flashed-back character, set about that Hope's baby was alive and wound up driving off a precipice with help from Thomas. Xander Avon returns BB, so why did Xander tell all this to Finn? Because it adds further energy to the budding Thomas/Finn fire, which will inescapably beget problems between Steffy and her hubby. Easily, Steffy thinks Hope is the bad person in this script, while Finn, armed with this new knowledge about Thomas, will peg his family-in-law as the wrongdoer. Liam Finn BNB. Ironically, this is going to play right into Liam's hands. He's been publicizing Thomas a villain for periods, so he'll happily jump on Finn's crusade. And if Finn's station toward Thomas drives a wedge between the croaker and his woman, guess who'll be right there ready to take advantage of the situation? That's right, Liam. This is principally a palm/palm for him. Will she or won't she? Of course, in order for the Xander/Emma stuff to pay off, the show demanded to raise the emotional stakes. So despite it being far too soon, Thomas popped the question. I kinda love this script on many situations. For one thing, there's a lot riding on Hope's response. Sure, they replaying the if she says yes, she might be marrying a veritably dangerous man angle. But the more intriguing angle for me will arise if Hope rejects his offer. B&B Thomas Hope engagement. How does Thomas reply? Does his response play into what people like Finn and Liam have been saying about him being dangerous? Does he maybe condemn Steffy, because let's face it, she's the bone? Who kinda sorta pushed him into making this big move with her asseveration that Hope doesn't really love him. What better way to prove Steffy wrong than by having Hope agree to come his bridegroom? Random studies. I kinda love that they pulled Xander out for this story, but just hearing the name Avant makes me miss Maya. It's well-conditioned once time to bring her back to the show. And, in agreement with former portrayer Carla Mosley's wishes, do so with the ambisexual actress in the part. Steffy Thomas B&B IVE long set up bold and beautiful, a cleaner that sort of balls on the edge of unhappy connections. Everyone on the show has been with everyone, with the Logan and Forrester pedigrees so mingled that at this point, the family tree has root spoilage. But indeed, taking that into consideration, it was just weird and uncomfortable to hear to Steffy and Thomas saying the words intimate and nut over and over, let alone in front of Hope. I love my family, but I can assure you we've no way formerly had a discussion about her nut in front of my family-in-law. I was happy to hear Ridge mention that Rick, Kristen and other family members had arrived in city and were visiting Eric. No, we didn't see them, but that's okay. Ideal? No, because of course we always want to see pets return. But given how important grief I piled on the Pens for not having them show up before, I am going to hail this move. Thomas Forrester point of view ASAP. Hopefully, we'll see further of the world from Thomas's perspective sooner rather than latterly. On The Bold and the Beautiful, Thomas Forrester is a heritage character, a talented fashion developer, and is eminently controversial. His Lux-sized baggage features a long list of crimes and misdemeanors, thanks to his longtime preoccupation with Hope. Thomas Forrester, a bold, beautiful, and better man. Recently, Thomas is concentrating on bettering himself and, as a result, finds himself in a relationship with the woman he loves. Still, his precious perspective is frequently missing from scripts or stories. Why is that? We know if given the material, Atkinson would knock it out of the domain. Meanwhile, there's no problem discovering what other characters on the oil are allowing and feeling. We retold their every study and emotion. For case, in the wake of Hope and Thomas kissing in Italy, Hope continually unloads her fears, precariousness, and views on the reproach. Liam has, too. And now that he's transferred all of his energy to Steffy, it's further of the same. The Spencer heir at Lassier and help but wax lyrical about why he's a safer option for Steffy than Finn is. As for Thomas, we're principally supposed to believe he's better. It's what Taylor, Ridge, and Steffy have uttered over and over. But, isn't it better if we had seen him go to Remedy more than formerly? Rather, it feels like Thomas faded for a while, and when he materialized back over at Forrester Creations, there was a new narrative. Thomas's POV is MIA. Thomas can say he's a new man over and over again, but if we didn't actually see the character do the work, are we supposed to believe he's no way going to return back to his dark Thomas days? The jury's still out on whether he's changed in a black, white, or tones of Argentine way.